What's going on, everyone? So the other day, the Los Angeles Lakers officially traded for Drew Timme from the Brooklyn Nets. Now, they traded him with the G League affiliate. So they basically secured the rights to Drew Timme, who is a guy that I would have loved to have, right? The Brooklyn Nets waived Drew Timme with the intentions of bringing him back. Like, that was the idea, was to keep him under the Brooklyn Nets umbrella. And the Lakers ultimately ended up trading for him. But when the Brooklyn Nets waived him, I was like, hey, he's a guy that I'd love to see the Lakers go and kind of try to swoop in on, see if they can bring him in, even if it is a G League or something like that, maybe even a two-way spot. And he's a guy that I think could make some sense for the Lakers. I wouldn't hate right now if the Lakers waived Christian Koloko and brought in Drew Timme. You know, Koloko kind of gives you a lot of the same stuff Jackson Hayes gives you. You can argue floor spacing. Christian Koloko, the idea is that he could be a floor spacing big. Plus, he is a better shot blocker. He is a little better disciplined than Jackson Hayes. But Luka likes Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes loves the Lakers. Jackson Hayes will probably sign one-year deals forever with the Lakers to be our second or third big. And I just think with Drew Timme, he gives us a completely different look from Koloko as well as a Jackson Hayes. I think he's closer to the mold of a DeAndre Ayton. Not as good as DeAndre Ayton, but what I mean is like that skilled big that can do multiple things out there. He's not just reliant and limited to just being a lob threat, or whatever, just a guy that's basically tucked away in the corner or anything like that. Drew Timme's a guy that can play an array. You can run your offense through him. It's actually one of his best skill sets is his ability to make plays out of the post, right? You could put him on the high screen, right? You could put him in multiple spots on the court to where he can kind of do all the dribble handoffs and everything like that, to where you can have him be, not saying like you're running him like Jokic or Sabonis or something like that, but again, a guy that you can make plays with on occasion. DeAndre Ayton, right? We've seen the Lakers put him in spots to where he can make plays for this Lakers team. That is something that I would look at for the Lakers as like a Drew Timme who can come in. He's shown the ability to stretch the floor, rebound the basketball, do a little bit of everything. So you can run some pick and pop actions. Basically what I'm saying is like DeAndre Ayton, right? When he goes to the bench or if he gets the night off, you can bring in a Drew Timme, and he's a guy that can kind of give you all of or a lot of the same offensive actions that you get with a DeAndre Ayton that you just don't get with a Christian Koloko or a Jackson Hayes. Now, Drew Timme, biggest flaw is his defense. I mean, he's not good defensively by any stretch of the imagination. He's not a good defensive big man. But you're not looking for him to be your starter or main guy playing 30-plus minutes. You're looking for him to just, again, kind of give you different looks at the big man position. You think of the 2020 season. Right? Obviously, that was Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee. I mean, it was high end. But it was, you had your skilled, versatile big. Then you had kind of like your enforcing big. Then you had your lob threat big. Right? You had three different versions of big men that you could deploy at any point. Right? That's kind of the idea. That's what I've talked about over the last few years with the Lakers. I'd love to see the Lakers kind of have a version of that. Like where you have these different centers that give you different looks and different skill set. Right? DeAndre Ayton is your star skilled big center that can slot in and can play multiple positions, maybe even slot in at the 4 at times because of his mid-range ability, right? So you got him, Drew Timme, right? He'd give you another skilled big who could stretch the floor, shown the ability to shoot 3-ball, not like lights out or anything like that, but again, a guy that could show you the ability to stretch the 3-ball, make plays out of the post. You could run some two-man game with him and DeAndre Ayton. Again, kind of just gives you a different look. And then you got Jackson Hayes. That's just the high flyer, run and gun style type of big man. Again, gives you a different look. So now you have these based on the situation or whatever is called upon. It's like, hey, we can throw out DeAndre. We can throw out a Drew Timme. We could throw out a Jackson Hayes, whatever. So he's somebody that I think could make an impact. Again, like I'm not talking about a guy that like, oh, now we're a title, now we're the best team. Like nothing like that, but just a guy that'll give you solid minutes in a solid role. Luka Doncic really wanted a floor spacing big man. That was the idea with Maxi Kleber. There we go. I was going to say Max Christie. Maxi Kleber. Right? Maxi Kleber was a guy that could spread the floor. He's not, but Maxi Kleber isn't lights out. The guy's like 35% for his career. So it's not like he's some like 45, just like can't miss type of 3-point shooter. So to me, again, I like the idea of bringing in a Drew Timme who is a bit older, right? He's 25 years old. He just turned 25 in September. So he's a little, little more mature, little more, hey, I understand I need to come in. I need to play a role that is asked of me, right? He's a guy that's going to buy into what is asked of him. And that's important, right? You want guys that understand the roles, that are capable of playing the roles, that are committed to whatever, hey, whatever you need from me today, boss, I got you. Let's do it, right? Like, and that's what I think Drew Timme really provides. It's what I think he really brings. Now, I don't necessarily, unless the Lakers really do want to bring him on a two-way, like I said, waive Christian Koloko, bring in a Drew Timme. DeAndre Ayton, we'll see what happens with him. At least at the time of recording this video, it says that he's probable. He ended up leaving the last game early, the Memphis Grizzlies game early, with back spasms. He had back spasms. So right now going into this next game, he is probable to return. So we'll see if he actually is able to return and actually play. If he ends up missing any significant time, that's where you could look to maybe, hey, let's bring up a Drew Timme to kind of give us some actions, right? Obviously, knock on wood, you don't want him to end up having to leave or anything. You want him to return sooner rather than later. But again, just gives you a guy that, could give you a lot of what you'd be losing if DeAndre Ayton missed, 5 games or whatever. But you wouldn't be able to actually play him and give him opportunities unless he signed the two-way deal. So the only way I really see him, there's two ways. A, get off of Koloko and bring in Drew Timme. B would be if the Lakers at some point pull off a trade and need to fill a roster spot, you could just have Drew Timme kind of leapfrog everybody and go straight to the main roster, right? So let's say the Lakers, just argument's sake, Andrew Wiggins trade. They go and make the trade for Andrew Wiggins. Boom, Andrew Wiggins now is back to, not back, but with the Lakers, you had to do, a 2 or 3 for 1 swap. You need to fill some roster spots. It's like, hey, we could use another big man, better safe than sorry type thing. Boom, bring in Drew Timme, or, bring Koloko up for a season, then bring in Drew Timme, where I'd probably, again, go with Drew Timme. I just think he gives you so much more. He gives you different things that Koloko just doesn't give you or provide. So I like the idea of going with a Drew Timme and just seeing what he can provide this Lakers team and see if maybe he's a guy that can have some type of impact. Right? Once you get to the playoffs, assuming everyone is healthy, again, knock on wood, you're running your backup big like maybe 10 minutes a night. Hey, because DeAndre Ayton's going to play 35 plus minutes a night, and then you're probably playing small ball for another probably 8 to 10 minutes, right? So at that point, you only got like a handful of minutes left for your center or a backup center really play. Certain matchups, certain nights, sure, maybe you're doing stuff, but for the most part, like even Jackson Hayes is probably not playing a ton come playoff time. He's probably going to average around 8 minutes a night. I wouldn't even be surprised if certain matchups or certain nights he doesn't even play at all because DeAndre Ayton's playing 35 minutes and our small ball's killing this team. So like, why would we get off of it, right? So again, it's just anybody that you're looking for, you're not expecting them to be like this huge game changer that's like, oh my God. Like, you just need somebody that can come in, get you through an 82-game season, somebody that when called upon or needed in the playoffs can step up in a pinch, kind of play that role, kind of contribute to the level that you'd be looking for somebody to contribute to. And I think Drew Timme is capable of doing it, right? He's a guy that, is not afraid of the moment. He's a guy that stepped up and played really well. Guy that comes from Gonzaga. So you're talking about a guy that just has like a good pedigree. Like you think of Gonzaga, you just think of like, those skilled, just every year they're in the conversation type things. He's not a true 7-footer. He's like 6'10", 6'11". Talking like, but he's like 240, which again gives us just more size than even like a Jackson Hayes or something like that. So it would be great to kind of see, Lakers obviously got him and acquired him and traded for him, although a G League trade. They obviously did it with the intentions at some point this is a guy that could make sense on the main roster, right? This is a guy, because that's the whole point. Right? You want to bring, the idea is you're developing, building and growing guys to then take that next step, that next leap from G League to, the main roster. But want to go over Drew Timme's stats last season to kind of highlight. It's limited games, only 9 games, but still, it was solid. Now, he was actually listed as power forward. He kind of played a little bit of both, but 28.2 minutes per game. Started in 2 games, by the way. 11.3 field goal attempts per game, shot 44.1% from the field. Now you might be thinking, Tyler, 44.1% for big man, that's not, a ton. Well, then you get to his 3-point range, right? 4 3-point attempts per game. He shot 26%, which isn't great by any imagination, but again, showing the ability to shoot the 3-ball. You also got to keep in mind, like, who was on Brooklyn last year. Right? It's not like the quality of looks were super great with him. But, you're talking almost half of his attempts were from 3-point range, 40% of his attempts from 3-point range, which really lowered his percentage. And then on 7.4 attempts from 2-point range, he shot 53.7%. So closer to a big man, 48.5% EFG. Free throw shooting, definitely been an issue for him. Shot 62.5% on 2 attempts. Gotta pick that up. No doubt about that. Rebounds, 7.2 rebounds, including 2 offensive rebounds, 2.2 assists, half a steal, half a block, and 12 points per game. So again, in 28 minutes of action, he was a 12, 7, 2, and a half guy. You look at his per 36, which doesn't tell you everything, but it kind of gives you an idea. He'd be 15.4 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and half a block. Talk about a guy that, again, give you a little bit of everything, right? Defense isn't something that, you're really banking on him to be elite on. But again, can he just kind of hold his own, not just get destroyed out there? But really, it's, again, gives you that offensive versatility from a big man play. You got DeAndre Ayton, who's buying in, kind of been your defensive anchor, right? You add him to that. You can even maybe slot him and Drew Timme side by side at times and kind of have those two be able to kind of play off of each other even, and really just kind of give you, again, these different looks that you just don't currently have right now. So I like the idea personally, but as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. What do you think? Feel what your thoughts. You like the idea of Drew Timme? Do you hate the idea? Either way, let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.